Oh, you thought it was a game? You thought we was playing? Yeah, we back. You know we do this for y'all, man. A little late, but I'm here, baby. AllBall TV. They scared, but I'm not. They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
Yeah. If you don't know, you should know who I be. I didn't even do my drop last night, man. I'm a little disappointed in that. By the way,
Knicks Rehab.
we are on all streaming services, audio services. I used to upload our videos on Spotify. Lorenzo and the Benzo, I ain't seen you in a minute. When Spotify had Spotify for podcasters and Anchor, and I like putting the videos up there instead of just the audio. But we are on all streaming services. We got some promo runs, man. Thursday night, 7:45 is AllBall College Madness. It's AllBall Madness. We talk college sports with our guy, Lenzel Graham, LG2, I call him. Zellat. He's going to post his Zell soon. Also, click the description. You're going to see a link there if you want to start a podcast, if you want to have a Zoom type call with your friends or family, whoever it is. There's a StreamYard link in the description. Click that. We get the credit for it. And you show them that, how we're doing, how we're directing traffic towards them. That way, you have an option to stream a Zoom call with your friends, record it if you want to, but you can see how StreamYard works. In the future, you could probably simulcast with us or just be on our StreamYard. We'll jump on your StreamYard, whatever the case may be. So if you want to start a podcast or some sort of broadcast in general, StreamYard actually streams to YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, everything. X formerly known as Twitter, everything. And of course, we can't forget, man. We can't forget to pay our bills. Head to factormeals.com/ABTV50. Factormeals.com/ABTV50. Factormeals.com/ABTV50, and you will get 50% off. 50% off, y'all. When you start. 20% off if you continue the second month. They have a variety of meal planning options. It's a way to, if you're on the run, if you're on the go, like I am, you see I'm back up here 12 hours later, use Factor Meals, make meal planning easy again. Get your Factor on, y'all. Show them some love. Show them our strength, like I always say, at AllBall TV. Show them how we get down, man. Factor Meals. Get your Factor on, man. I was looking at this article. Me and Tubi on the same page, and I guess they just suggest people watch certain things. You know how your phone watches you. There isn't any real news out there, right, for Knicks. But I did want to discuss Carmelo Anthony again for like the third straight day. Wow, a lot of commercials on this thing. I just click on the I can't just click on it. Okay, so I do it like that. We touch on Carmelo Anthony, just his mindset. We touched on that, but also we compared him to Julius Randle, and it's only fair that we revisit it a bit. So here, this is Carmelo Anthony referring to his Madison Square Garden record of 62 points, his mindset that game, and what he was feeling, what he was going through on the podcast podcast.
To tell what happened, I just knew I felt like I was in another space at that moment. And I was angry, so I was trying to isolate myself in a space where only I can operate in this space mentally. Everybody, it was like a you 62. Yeah. People think that it was just a happy, like, no, it was really, I'm really trying to, like, I'm scoring and like the fans looking at the fan like, y'all, like, fans have bags over their head, you know, it was all type of going on. The brown bag guys or something. All of y'all, like, I took that. I wasn't saying it verbal, but it was like,
that's just what the energy
every
was.
jab that I give you, it was gonna be, this is a you jab, like, get off me. And it was just that.
So that was Melo speaking on when he scored a record 62 points at the Garden. He also had some other quotes. I had lost some games. We weren't playing well. New York was on. They was all over me. The media, everybody. I was in such a zone. It was a zone that nothing or nobody or anybody could say. It's like a bubble. You're angry. The fans are on you. The media is ridiculing you. You don't know what your teammates are thinking. We're losing. Tough. These were tough times, man. That was January 14th. That was January 14th. I wish you guys give me I want to say 2014 is when that happened. Let me see. The day Carmelo set record. Looks to dry. Oh, 2013? Nah, yeah, January 2014. Yep. I think Melo is he was polarizing when he got here because of how he got here. You know, great one-on-one scorer, one of the greatest one-on-one scorers we'll ever see, right? Every opponent talks about just the toughest guard, Kobe, from Kobe to Draymond. Just the best defenders in the league speak on him like he was a center. And just his mentality in that game. As much as we were praising Julius Randle and Brunson for doing what they do, you know, even Brunson can't do what Carmelo did. Like, Carmelo was just, it is what it is when you're that size. And for someone to have that mentality and you're not, you know, it's not going to be a winning season, why not go for 62, right? 0 assists. I think the selfish rap, it's not that it's overblown, it's just Michael Jordan was selfish. Kobe Bryant was selfish. They're in a lot of guys' top 5s, top 10s. Best player ever in a lot of people's minds, Michael Jordan. He was a selfish player. I don't care what anybody says, right? He had to learn how to play a team game. It was magic watching Michael Jordan. And of course, with Carmelo, it was magical as well at times because he just smooth jumper. And he was a superstar like that. You know, even with Kevin Durant, he has a lot of that as well. You got some scorers, Bernard King. When you watch the games, these, in my opinion, I always say Dr. J is the most influential player in basketball history because he crossed the streets up with basketball, with the masses. You know, he wasn't even really talked about as a highly touted talent. Shout out to Dime Dropper. He revisits the history of basketball, the NBA from the beginning. He's watching every single NBA game damn near from the beginning, and he can tell you how much everything changes and how Dr. J wasn't even spoken about and being recruited by teams when he was about to be, come to the league. He changes the game, and when that famous picture when he's at Rucker Park, everybody is surrounding Dr. J, right? Like you can see in the park. Is magical. Like I don't know if Rucker does that anymore. But this is what superstars do. They have something about them that brings them to the game. I don't care if they're playing in street ball, in a tournament. Dr. J's a Long Island kid who came to New York City, played at Rucker, where all the top tier talent would play back then. Was a rite of passage, and it's just proof that to my belief that no matter what, when you're a star like this, people come out to see you, as opposed to let's say a Tim Duncan or something like that. I don't know if Tim Duncan could have drawn a crowd like this at the Rucker, right? Because he's not a superstar off the court. Carmelo Anthony was a superstar off the court. What he's doing with the podcast now, you can see why people love Carmelo. The way that they defend Carmelo. It's not like he was a piece of you know what. And for him, what he was saying, the crowd got him angry, wearing bags over their heads. That's stuff that I saw with like the New Orleans Saints back in the day. And the thing that just motivate you, and when you have a skill like that, like Carmelo, just one-on-one scorer, just imagine being able to do what you want to do on the court, especially against the Bobcats, a lowly team at that time, and just to go out there and play ball. He sounded like what Kobe sounded like every single minute of his life, right? He sounds like what Michael Jordan sounded like every single minute of his life. God bless his dad to Kobe. God bless everybody. But Carmelo had that for that game. And it takes a special, or not, I can't even say special, just a lunatic kind of a person to take it to the next level and do that so consistently. And it's something that Randall needs to learn, right? Brunson already kind of has that. Even Brunson isn't the superstar that Melo was. No matter how great you think these players are, compare them. We think, Brunson already leapfrogged Carmelo as a Knick, a greatest Knick of all time category ranking. We're placing Julius Randle ahead of Carmelo as well, in terms of, Knick legacy. But it's, in terms of superstardom, I mean, this is a guy who we know what Melo's going to do. It's not going to be a 360 windmill dunk. He's going out there to score. He's going to sell tickets, man. Your girl know who he was. Your mama might have known who he was. They had crushes on this guy. And that's what superstars do. They bring people to the table, man. They sell tickets. I think it's really special to see him have that mentality and look for things to be motivated by on that night, especially when you're losing and being a professional. he didn't have to show up either, right? He could have just taken his millions and walked away, faked an injury, right? So just to see people motivate themselves, hopefully they happen more often in his career. I would love to ask him, when else did you get motivated by the crowd? What else did that happen often? Because he was a scorer, right? Hopefully Randall and these guys could turn it up a notch and look for motivation like that to show up, because this is about to be like it's probably gonna be a record breaking, sales. I've already predicted the Knicks are gonna be, I think they're gonna double in value in the next 5 years. If the Nova Knicks succeed, they're gonna have to double in value. They're worth around $6 billion now. I think they'll go to $12 billion easily, because the superstar that Melo was, it's like that's what's gonna be the team. The team itself is gonna be a superstar. And in New York, when you have that, it's just different. It's just different. The ratings, everything. That's why James Dolan is fighting over the NBA media rights, and he's talking about the local networks. Shout out to Bag Fuel. I think it was them talking about. Oh no, I'm sorry. Shout out to the Menace Material podcast. They have a dope podcast. I think the guy's name is AJ. He said he used to work for a TV station, and he would see how much the advertising will go for during football season, Sunday night games. He said it was just astronomical, and they don't really talk sports like that on that channel. They're more like culture critics, and he was talking about hundreds and thousands of dollars for the local sponsors. Imagine what the local sponsors go for with the Knicks while they're winning. The Garden sells out when we're losing with bags over their heads. That was a sellout crowd. That's what we do. The corporate system behind it. I think there's a lot invested in this season, and I just hope to see the Knicks motivated by any means going forward. Everybody, Randall, especially because of his tenure with the Knicks. Randall has had sort of like an inverse version of Carmelo's career with the Knicks, right? Carmelo came in hot. You already had a superstar in an Amari or a star, top 5, top 10 in his position at the time, power forward. So he comes in with a lot of hype. Randall comes in with a disappointment. There's no KD, there's no Kyrie, there's no number 1 pick to get Zion. So Randall comes in with no expectations and just lowly Knicks, bags over their heads in the crowd. Now you fast forward, you get to the Nova Knicks, nothing but expectations. And by the time Carmelo was done in New York, there were no expectations. The bags over their heads in the crowd. Hopefully this run continues. Hopefully this run continues, man, because that whole team is about to be a supernova out there, man. Let's get to these comments. Top of the morning, Von Allen, what's going on? Should have had that mentality for the entire season. I think that's tough, Lorenzo, because I don't like I go to work and there's some people with that mentality. I do track work. And I used to be on the tracks, right? Like doing the actual track work. Now I'm driving a truck and I deliver the materials. That thing is exhausting. You got guys that go on the tracks and they just have that mentality. Oh, this knocks this out. You can tell who the big alpha is, who the guys who know how to work with their hands. They get busy, and they're superstars with people that I work with. Initially, when I first got there, I laughed, I scoffed at it, but then you see the respect that goes around at anybody's job. I don't care where you work at, and to be able to have that mindset day in, day out for a lot of people is probably tiring. Number one. Number two, it shows you that thing is special. It's not easy. It's not easy. You know what Jalen Brunson is doing. I think that level of focus is incredible. I think he has that mentality. I think he is like Kobe and Jordan like that. Just a nice version. Like, look at Steph Curry, nice guy, but how does someone stay on top of their game like that for that long? Always in shape. He looks like he's never slacking. It doesn't appear that way because he's a non-physical guard, but look at him. He just looks. When does it stop with Steph Curry, right? And Carmelo didn't quite have that. He didn't move off ball the same way. Maybe he needed, a better infrastructure. Who knows? If Donnie Walsh was here his entire tenure, we know is different. It just is. And still, we've seen like Olympic Melo. We've seen him around his guys, his own people, his peers, the superstars of his era. And those are the guys. Dwayne Wade, in my opinion, Derrick Rose is going to be often forgotten about, but I think Derrick Rose has that mentality. Because Russell Westbrook and Derrick Rose are a lot alike. Came into the league at a very similar time, but Derrick Rose, I think, and Westbrook, they had the go mentality. But I thought Rose applied his skills and his talent. He evolved it, and he was very intentional with it on and off the court. It felt like Westbrook was still random. He still felt erratic and relied on his athleticism a lot. He still does. I mean, he's about to be mid-30s if he's not already. And he just looks incredible. He came back from serious injuries before as well. Derrick Rose was not able to recover. So, the DNA lottery wasn't all there. It got him there, but it's tough. But that mentality, the same way I believe the same way you have a DNA lottery to have that physical build and be able to make it to the NBA, to even have a chance to make it, I think there's like a mental lottery as well. And when those two match, that's when you see just utter greatness. And imagine the role players like a Derek Fisher who stays in shape with that stupid headband on. That's top two and not two dumbest headband of all time. Dumbest way to wear a headband is Derek Fisher. Horrendous behavior by Derek Fisher. What was he thinking? Jesus Christ. And we said it in real time. It wasn't like we said it in no, we said it in real time. Derek Fisher, you look nuts. What are you doing? Covering your ears like that. Why? You cold? It was cold in LA and at the Staples Center. Who covers their ears with a headband? Does anybody know if he had a medical prognosis or diagnosis before I go on? Because I don't want to keep making fun of him and his stupid looking headband. He's telling me to shh. But either way, Derek Fisher is an example of a role player that I think he has that Jordan mentality because he stayed in shape. He was a bit of a dirty player. He got on your nerves, agitated you. He did whatever it took to win. He was never going to be Brunson. He wasn't going to be Kobe. Same draft as Kobe, Derek Fisher. That mindset is tough, man. It's tough to have that. Even with me, this morning I came from work looking for things to talk about. I don't see anything hot. So I saw the Melo thing. I wanted to put it up here. I wanted to reach out to you guys because you guys are on here supporting us all the time. YouTube, I guess, is back rocking with us because at some point they were, shadow banning us. But I digress. How do you push forward? How do you wake up every morning and go and ignore just go back to sleep, go back, lay down? Everybody has the same thing. I could go to the gym right now if I wanted to. Let me go eat this sandwich. Let me go eat that Cinnabon. That's all discipline. That's not easy. That's what makes us human. The legends. Is Derek Fisher a legendary role player? Like Robert Horry gets all the love in the world and credit. Stay ready. I don't know if Robert Horry played as much as Derek Fisher as a role player for that long. But Fisher was there for both times that the LA went to the championship 3 times in a row. I would have to believe Robert Horry had the same mentality. But even Robert Horry is way more, to me, he's way more talented than Derek Fisher. I'm not going to say Robert Horry mailed it in like Shaq. Shaq mailed it in a lot of years. The biggest Knicks hater of all time at this point. Pun intended. That mentality is hard to have. It's hard to kick anything. Don't eat that. You know, let's get the work done. After this, after we get off, I'm going to go edit a couple videos and post those. The work ethic, you have to have it to go get this 100,000 million subscribers. It's the same thing. It's the same mentality. And knowing, you know how many times we wanted to quit doing the show? We wanted to quit doing YouTube. We wanted to quit because it's like the views don't go and people are all you clickbaiting and all. And then there's so many things you're dealing with in life in general. And you come on here, you just go, I just want to talk my talk, man. If I wanted to, I could have easily named this Knicks get the Joker or something like that. Question mark. Which I might do. We just want to have a conversation. What an amazing night. Imagine if he took that mindset each and every game. I guess I'm talking about all that, right? Rucker died big time. Big time. And I'm going to give AllBall some truth serum so we could talk about just basketball and youth basketball in general. He's really going to have something to say that's insane. The only basketball player to bring that much attention in New York City. Man, I just think Dr. J it's not talked about enough, man. Brunson is just getting started. What up, Q-Borough? Randall's 56 at the guard was nothing to sneeze at either. I thought he had 60 against the Timberwolves. It wasn't 60. And he fumbled the rebound. And he fumbled the shot and he threw the ball at the padding. Cheesy Soul Cakes, what's going on, my brother? Everybody go to at Cheesy Soul Cakes on Instagram. Throw your Instagram at in the chat, Cheesy Soul Cakes. GM Soul Cakes. Hey, good morning. Oh, that's my bad. Good morning. Torrano to pass that. Yeah, maybe. Bogey Bodega. What's going on, baby? Derek was annoyingly trash as our coach. Isn't that crazy? I forgot he was our coach while I was giving him props. Scrap everything I said about Derek Fisher. This is the lasting memory of Derek Fisher. This moron right here. Who wears the headband like this? Forget everything I said about Derek Fisher. He's the big yellow and purple moron. Worst way to wear a headband ever. I think I've seen people wearing do-rags covering their ears like this. Looking nuts. In the summertime. What the hell's wrong with y'all? Ori 7 rings. Fish got 5. Fish got 5, and he wasn't no team. He team hopped a little bit, went to Utah. But Fish got 5, bro. And he was important. It wasn't like, can we say that, like, if you just take him off the team, I don't know if the Lakers win. That shot against Tim Duncan with 0.4 of a second left. I think that was a record. I don't know. He was a really good guard, pesky defender. They don't win without him. Even if Robert Horry is there, do the Lakers have the right point guard in place? He used to hit big shots. I'm not going to start as Robert Horry better than Derek Fisher. I think Robert Horry was better than Derek Fisher. He was like a Scottie Pippen type. Not as elite physically in Houston, but brought the ball up. He almost got traded with Olajuwon to Phoenix, if I'm not mistaken, in 92 or 93. Good day, folks. AllBall had an Insta Live yesterday. I had to turn it off and discuss. What did he say that? Robert Pauls, what's going on? What did he say that had you disgusted? Shaq would need brain surgery if he had a brain. Yo, Shaq, we killing you out here, bro. I don't know why you started this with us. We are destroying your punk ass. Australia losing to Canada at the moment. F my life. When is the USA Sudan game? That's gonna be, they're breaking. I'm gonna get to that in a second. They're breaking records over there with the Olympics. I can't give Melo a pass on that because he pushed to be seen as the team's leader, nor flexible with the contract to allow another to fill that role. I totally agree. We got on him about that when we compared him to Julius Randle yesterday, Lorenzo. I don't know if you had a chance or an opportunity to watch that video where, we were just giving Julius Randle his props. We were, I was always highly critical of Carmelo because a lot of these guys, even with Kevin Durant's going to be known as better than Carmelo Anthony at this point. But all these guys, Kyrie, Kawhi Leonard, they were following LeBron, and they really didn't follow what he did. LeBron went to 8 straight championships. You couldn't possibly believe that you looked across the court and you see LeBron James and you thought you could do what he does. And then off the court, you thought you can control the NBA the way that he did. A talent like LeBron is swaying the weight to a championship way more than anybody in his era. They just are like, there's a gap between that. That's why when they were saying, the whole thing with was Steph Curry better one year because he got the MVP, was KD better? It's like, there's no way I'm starting a team with anybody else before LeBron. That makes zero sense. So with that being said, Melo, even D Wade and these guys, remember D Wade joined the same draft as Chris Bosh, Melo, and LeBron. D Wade said, yeah, come join us, LeBron. No, stay over here, bro. Stay over here, B. Once you start team hopping and playing GM, we faulted Melo for that, but at this point, I wanted to highlight that his mentality when he scores 62 points and him just looking for that anger, that passion, and maybe he should have had more often, of course, but it separates like the gods of on the court versus the players, the humans versus the gods. How you get into God mode, and I truly believe that's how Brunson is right now. And Randall's, hopefully he learns that, because he's another guy. Like, if Randall has that mentality and really works on his skill set and thinks less out there, I saw him meditating out there. That's accountability. If he continues to hold himself accountable, I don't. It could be a record-breaking season of all manners. Julius Randle is that talented. He was that talented. Numbers he was putting up was like he was the no frills LeBron. 56 versus Minnesota, Jaylen 60 versus San Antonio. Also, it was 56 when he fumbled the ball and everything. Yeah, Jaylen went crazy. He tried to break Carmelo's record. That was nuts, man. And when Wemby was going nuts. Wemby's another guy, man. Wemby's about to go nuts. Salute, Fabe, AllBall, and General Flea. Salute to the chat, fellas. Thulium, what's going on, my brother? Giving headbands a band name. Thrill. I say this often. McBride has a lot of official qualities. Right. We don't as much, because sometimes he'll look like Allen Iverson out there, but I don't think McBride can command the offense the way Fisher did at his level. I don't think Fisher was way more of a point guard than McBride, and McBride struggles. If he tries to get, like, he doesn't have much of a bag. He's not losing the ball, but he looks to have that 1-2 dribble, and if he doesn't create enough space, he kind of just backs up and doesn't know what to do. So he has to give the ball up and try to get, let the ball wrap around and get his shot. But McBride struggles with that. Like Derek Fisher would not be dribbling as much as McBride. Not unless he's on fire. You know, but I understand what you're saying because they have that high arcing jumper, Vaughn. That's what I think that reminds you of Derek Fisher. That high arc. McBride is a righty, Derek Fisher's a lefty, but that arc is insane. Think Flea, shout out to Flea. He compared McBride to Ben Gordon's shot. And that's why, because Ben Gordon was what, 6'4", 6'5", and he would just jump straight up and have that, make sure that arc went crazy. And you know, Ben Gordon, Derek Fisher and McBride, they ain't no Ben Gordon at his peak. At his peak, Ben Gordon was tough. UConn kid, right? Wish Flea was here to hear that. UConn kid, come on, kidding me? How do I know he went to UConn? Stop playing with me. Canada got a squad. Yeah, we haven't played them yet, right? USA hasn't played them yet. Everyone's just talking about we're just gonna leapfrog through everybody. If Sudan gives us another push this today or whenever we play them next, that's gonna be tough. And SGA and them boys, they got a lot of NBA guys over there, Dylan Brooks, and they want to win. They want the bragging rights. Canada just needs an official big man. Who the hell is their big man? Anthony Bennett, the NBA reject. Respectfully, Anthony Bennett, because I wish I was an NBA reject and I'd be podcasting sitting on the bag of money. AB was the sane one, but Max said, "Oh, Braun is the GOAT, KD is the second and greatest scorer." And Kenny Anderson said Pippen is the greatest small forward. They said he has 6 rings, but I said as a second option. And people got upset at that. Dude said Pippen was cheated against the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. It was the second round. A lot of people think that the Bulls went to the conference finals. It wasn't, Robert Paulson. Yeah, you're right. For some years, I did think that myself because it was such a drastic series. Pippen did get cheated though. They did foul him on the hand, but you know they didn't want to see you in the conference finals, bro. Mike ain't there. It's a business, strictly business. Sit your punk ass down, Pippen. So you were begging for Mike to come back the next year. Get out of here, Scottie. Royal Ivy's story of how he turned South Sudan's BB team around is amazing. I didn't see Royal Ivy's story, Cheesy. I saw, Luol Deng speaking on them, how he's paying for the basketball courts, and that's amazing. Maybe I should look that up. Royal Ivy is his name. Royal Ivy Sudan. Oh, he's the coach? Let's take a gander. We heading into Fabian perspective territory now. You see the background. Yeah. You see the background, y'all. Fabian perspective territory. We love Fabian! Fabian! Oh, before we get into the Royal Ivy thing, don't forget, y'all, factormeals.com/abtv50, factormeals.com/abtv50, get 50% off. 50% off with Factor Meals, y'all. Make meal planning easy again with Factor Meals. And here's an article where Royal Ivy has South Sudan exceeding Olympics expectations before U.S. clash with friend Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant's his guy. Royal Ivy, born in Harlem, raised in Queens. Oh, wow. Has already exceeded expectations by first coaching upstart South Sudan onto the world stage in their first Olympics. And then making a debut in Paris. Now comes Wednesday's showdown with Team USA and best friend Kevin Durant. being in the Olympics and getting our first win. My life is like a movie. So this is chapter 42, and this is an amazing chapter for me. But here playing the league for 10 years. Now I'm coaching. I'm the OG. I never thought I'd be a coach. I thought I'd be a school teacher or run my own prep school. But I'm a coach, and I'm investing in the youth and these young guys. So at the end of the day, man, like I said, my life is a movie. Keep it going. Everything's been surreal my whole life. People told me, no, you couldn't do this. You're not quick enough. You're not smart enough. You're not fast enough. You can manifest whatever you want in this life. It's achievable. So I'm just living proof. Ivy, who had been an assistant with the Knicks and the Nets, took over a South Sudan team in 2021 that had never made a World Cup or Olympics. The world's newest country at just 13 years old, they reached their first World Cup last year, finishing as the best African team and earned them their first Olympic berth. He's done unbelievable. We got to be good, and you got to be lucky. Ron Naclerio, who coached Ivy at Cardozo High School in Queens. Oh, wow, I went to Cardozo. But when you're good, you make your luck. When you're bad, you get unlucky. I see what he's done the last 2 or 3 years, slowly building up, getting qualified for the Olympics. And beating Puerto Rico was huge. You talk about the team. They beat South Sudan, beat Puerto Rico 90-79 the other day. Right, they took Team USA to the wire in their first matchup, and the rematch. Man, and Kevin Durant didn't play that first game. I expect some friendly banter to go on between Kevin Durant and his former teammate and his best friend, apparently, Royal Ivy. Yo, but thanks for bringing him up, man. Who brought that up? Cheesy, yeah, it was Cheesy Soul Case. Thanks for bringing that up, man. I appreciate that. I had no idea who the coach was. That's incredible. From being from Queens and Cardozo. If I'm not mistaken, Skip Tamalu went to Cardozo for a second before he went to Fresno. Not Fresno. Whatever high school he went to, Christ the King. I thought he went to Cardozo. That's an incredible story, though. I can handle a bad tape, but multiple at once took its toll. But that's like reading all the comments sometimes, Paul or RP. Look at Twitter. The Twitter comments is crazy. Twitter, I avoid at all costs. Dom always talks to me about Twitter, about like people dropping nuts. I'm like, bro, I wouldn't read those comments. I block everybody. I don't want you on my timeline. If what am I learning from you? I hope at the very least I could be dead wrong. I could be dead wrong about anything in life, but I hope at the very least you sitting there listening to me and going, all right, I have a chance to have a conversation with this guy, and we can come to the conclusion about him reaching or understanding my point of view in life or my point of view about the subject, regardless if we walk away agreeing or not. Well, a lot of these commenters in general, and a lot of people in general, for me personally, not that I come off stuck up, but I don't think I'm stuck up. I just don't. What the hell are people talking about, man? You wasting my time. I gotta go get some sleep, man. People got upset at that. Dude said people was Chill Will, what's going on? Salute to the guys. Good morning. Peace to the chat. ABTV, Knicks Rehab. Let's get to it. I got to read the AllBall TV family first, y'all. And Fisher and Deuce defense is solid. Pesky. I still think Fisher was better defensively. Just strong as hell. Fisher's strong, bro. As much as I hated the Bulls that season without MJ, Scottie was probably the MVP that season. He was cooking up that season. No, the hell he was not. Listen, all P's in the building doesn't want to hear this. I roasted him on Twitter because he tried to tell me that Jordan deserved that 88 Defensive Player of the Year trophy, and he did not. Akeem Olajuwon may have been the best defender of that time period. Akeem Olajuwon was the MVP that year, or David Robinson, Von Allen. Scottie Pippen ain't touching them. Scottie Pippen was not as great as David Robinson and Akeem Olajuwon. Imagine if Michael Jordan had David Robinson. What? He did great. Scottie Pippen led the team, the Bulls, in like every major category, right? Assists, points, rebounds. He played wonderful. They won 55 games, or I know they won over 50 games, and they made it to the second round. That was a quite the accomplishment. So I don't want to take anything away from him. But MVP, you know what? Where did he finish, Scottie Pippen, that season? MVP, Scottie Pippen stats. Scottie Pippen in 90. That was 93, 94, right? Wow, look at this. Look at this. Scottie Pippen. Jesus Christ. You kidding me? Bro, look at these years from right here. Most improved, most improved. And then from what year is this? From 90 to 90, 90, 91 on. Second all defense. Seventh in defensive player of the year. Most improved, number 8. He was in the top 9 MVP conversation in 92. All defensive team, first team. Then he was on the All-NBA second team. All-Star defensive player of the year. He finished in 3rd place. This is amazing. He didn't finish in the top 10 in defensive player of the year in 90. What is this? 90, 92, 93? Who the hell they had now? I gotta see that list. Look how many times he finished in the MVP. Look, from 90-91 till I guess this is 97-98. So for 7 seasons, Scottie Pippen finished in the top 10 MVP running once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 out of 8 years, it looks like, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 out of these 8 years, 8 seasons, Scottie Pippen finished in the top 10 in NBA. Oh, I'm sorry, 6 out of the 8 years, because one of them is in number 11. But defensive player of the year as well. He finished in the top 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 times. And top 5, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. He finished in the top 5 defensive player of the year category. And of course, he was top 10 defensive player of the year category. I don't know what happened in 92, 93, where they kind of screwed him over here. Because how did he finish All NBA 3rd team? How many small forwards out back then? I think that was like, I don't know what they were thinking. He was all on the all defensive first team. That's when it gets confusing. He finished all defensive first team. Is it 6 years in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 years in a row. No, 8 years in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 years in a row, he finished all defensive first team. You kidding me? What happened here that he didn't get the finish in top 10 MVP voting? That was like writer's block or whatever. But the 93-94 season, that's when Jordan wasn't there, right? Yeah, because 94, the Knicks went to the finals. Top 4 defensive player of the year, all-star, all defense, number 1, all first team all defense, first team team all NBA, and top 3 MVP vote getter. That season, it was David Robinson and Akeem Olajuwon ahead of him. That's exactly who I said, right? Shaq finished 4th, Patrick Ewing finished 5th. So Scottie Pippen had a better year that year than Patrick Ewing, huh? Right? And again, it's about who's more valuable. Dennis Rodman finished 11th. Isn't that crazy? Kevin Johnson. You know how mad I was at Kevin Johnson when Watch that final series, man, with 92-93. Kevin Johnson just disappearing against the Bulls. He's supposed to destroy Hodges and whoever else is out there. Paxson. Kevin Johnson's supposed to average 40 on them. He was supposed to kill them. I digress. Mookie Blaylock, top 11. You kidding me? What do he got? He got 1 point. Kevin Johnson got a point. Sprewell got a point. That's dope. But yeah, that 92-93 year was definitely special for Scottie Pippen. You know, first place votes, Akeem Olajuwon went bananas, 66. David Robinson had 24, and Scottie only had 7. But, you know, the proof was in the pudding. This is the win shares per 48. Who finished number 1? David Robinson finished number 1. Shaq number 2. Sean Kemp 3. Stockton 4. Ewing 5th. Pippen drops very low on this list. That's interesting. Akeem Olajuwon is what? 6th with win shares per 48. And here's the regular win shares, which is 20. David Robinson again. Shaq is up there. That's tough, man. That's 92-93, right? No, 93-94. And of course, again, Scottie Pippen is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, 8th place. And again, you're dealing with Robinson double of 29 and 10. Shaquille O'Neal 29 and 13. Akeem Olajuwon 27 and 12, basically. Carmelo 25 and 11. You know, it's John Stockton has more win share value than Pippen this season. 12 assists a game, 2 steals a game. He shot 52% from the field, 32% from 3. So, John Stockton, little white man, what you doing shooting 32% from 3? But he meant a lot to that offense. But he did have Carmelo. So Pippen was by himself. That's tough, right? Clearly, Akeem Olajuwon had his team with him. And, of course, David Robinson had a hell of a season. And the next season, I think David Robinson wins the MVP. Right? I think 495. Yeah, Robinson wins. Shaq is in second place. I never knew Shaq was in second place. And I guess the voters got, was it voters fatigue? There's an advertisement going on that I can't see. All NBA teams. Yeah, man. Pippen just had a hell of a run that season, bro. It's amazing. Amazing. As much as I hated the Bulls that season, MJ Scottie was probably the MVP that season. He was cooking up that season. So we saw a lot of evidence there that he did great. Don't want to take anything away from him, but 92-93 is still interesting with Scottie because how did he not finish in the top 5 all defense again? That was so weird. Or top 3, top 10 MV, all defense we said, right? They just totally X'd it out. Yeah, 92. 92, 93. I wonder what happened. That was the 3rd year of the three-peat. And he had there was no top 10 votes. You know why I didn't check that, right? 92, 93. All right, do I have to just totally remove it because it's acting up? '92, '93. Damn, Jordan finished behind Olajuwon as well. And even though Jordan had more win shares than Olajuwon, win shares per 48, Jordan was destroying everybody. Jordan got robbed that year. 92, 93, he got robbed that year. but Pippen wasn't on his list at all. I wonder if RP, he was watching the Bulls back then, what Scottie did 92, 93 to somehow not have no MVP votes, and every other year he has MVP votes throughout the 90s. Scottie did what he always did. The big difference was we had Kukoc closing out games. We had BJ and Horace up their productivity to make their only All-Star appearances. Skip to Malu and to Cardozo too. Yeah, that's what I just said. I knew he did that. Thank you, Cheesy. Rob the GM. Scottie decided to sit out when Phil called the game winner for Tony Kukoc was nothing short of hilarious. Scottie sat out because that play wasn't drawn up for him. That day I lost all respect. Really? I mean, guys, and now you see, with Scottie Pippen, we talked about like mentality, having a winner's mentality. I don't know if Scottie has a winning mentality without Michael Jordan. Same thing we talked about Carmelo and Julius Randle now. To have that help, to have that other guy on the team that really has that mentality. I'm not saying Carmelo felt like Scottie Pippen. I think that's just because you have that. You can have different kind of personalities and just be distracted off of, what the objective is, what the ultimate goal is. And, things like that Scottie did. I don't care. His teammates protect the hell out of him. I think they just feel bad for him because there's no way you kicking the chairs over and all because Tony Kukoc got a play drawn off for him and you want to be a jerk. Yeah, Pippen did a lot of, that was stupid of him. And is he the best small forward of all time? I don't know if he goes over with Dr. J. I don't know if he goes Larry Bird. Even though Bird had a hell of a super team also. And that season, Tony had multiple game winners and Pippen missed some. Where Tony low-key got in his bag that year. Tony Kukoc would have been ill in this era. It's okay to know your worth. It certainly is. Will you watch a video later, Fab, about Jordan in '88? I seen there's a guy on damn, what's my guy's name? He just said that he deserved the defensive player of the year. Damn, what's my guy's name? I love his channel. Let me find it for you right here. Go to my history. This not Strauss. Could Michael Jordan compete? Nah. Defensive player. Johnny Arnett. That's the guy right here, Johnny Arnett. I seen his video about Jordan, the '88 season he should have won. It was well deserved, even though all the stats and stuff like that. And that was disappointing about the stats and everything that people try to misrepresent, the previous era. But, Johnny Arnett, a dope YouTube channel. And let's see. Skip. My thing is slowing down. He went through this. Look, this is his channel. He talked about if defensive player of the years were given to the best defenders in the '80s. So he started this thing. I did put a comment in here once, like, yo, you better break down if Akeem Olajuwon was better than him that season. Jordan broke all kind of records. How he struggled with keeping up with, like, Dale Ellis gave him 41 game or something like that because he struggled with just being able to follow him through his actions and through him cutting to the basket, and his curl routes. Like, Jordan would have struggled against the Golden State Warriors in this era, if that's the case, right? If that was that same '88 Jordan, maybe later on it would have been better. But if he struggled with Dale Ellis in that system, imagine having to keep up with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson with the elevators and stuff like that. That was proof of that. But he would have struggled for those moments. But just his ability to make up for any lost space, block shots, just fundamentally sound. Defensively, he broke him down. It was the shot. It was also the rim protection that he was big on. The rim protection. He anticipated a lot. That's why they would turn the ball over. But he was just quick. He was quick, and he had just that weak side defense too, where he would come out of nowhere and swat the ball. But specifically in that season, Michael Jordan would come out of nowhere and try to block his shot. Like he would come out of nowhere, weak side, try to block his shot. He was going crazy that year. Do not get me wrong, RP. He was going bananas. This guy Johnny on there breaks it down. But my thing is, everything that Michael Jordan has to do defensively that you want to give him credit for that season, Akeem Olajuwon does way more naturally. It's easier for Akeem Olajuwon to do all of that. And the defensive stats, I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even talk about defensive stats because you don't like. I already broke that down for you. The stats trump him, and that's what's super impressive about Mike that season. If I'm not mistaken, he finished. Did he finish higher than Akeem Olajuwon that year in defensive rating? I know it was like 6.4 and 6.2. Yeah. Let me see. Jordan. Advanced, right? And defensive rating. I think his win shares were great also that season. The defensive win shares were crazy. Mike was going bananas. They don't have the defensive rating here? Is that a per 48 status on per 36? What happened to defensive rating? His PER was nuts, 31.7 that year. That was crazy. Just offensively, he was bananas. All around, he was better than Olajuwon. Then first, what Akeem did for his first 8 to 10 seasons, and defensively was just a slight notch up over Mike. But offensively, Mike came into the league way better than Akeem Olajuwon offensively. That was the biggest difference. I don't care how great you are defensively. Mike's getting 30. Right? But I definitely saw it. I don't know if that's the video you're talking about, RP. Third. Look at Akeem Robinson, Shaq, and Ewing numbers. Even Malone, Dominique. Yeah, they was going bananas, man. Click on the MVP voting. Oh, I read my mind, man. Looks like he was third. Pippen just got more votes from writers. They love the Bulls. Mr. McCormick, what's going on, man? Yeah, but you can't just say that, Mr. McCormick. That's why I think like it's important to look at not just who gets the actual MVP, but for Pippen to be in the MVP conversation for like 8 out of the 10 seasons in the 90s is an incredible feat. Like, come on now, there's 30 teams led by a different guy, and Scottie's sharing. Somebody's leading his team, and he still gets MVP votes. That's an incredible thing. That's an incredible feat. And to your point, RP, Scottie Pippen is soft, crybaby, all of that, and he still finishes top 10 MVP. It's not just liking him. Maybe there is some sympathy votes because we are human and we are figuring that out. But yeah, nah. He got more votes from right because of the Bulls. Yeah, you're right, Mr. McCormick. I don't want to veer off from that point. When you're winning and you're, the Beatles of the NBA, the Beatles of basketball, you're gonna get more shine. And we saw that Michael Jordan should have won the MVP maybe in 92, 93. Barkley might not have deserved that. Akeem Olajuwon might have deserved it more. There's no way Barkley was better than Akeem Olajuwon, bro. Barkley did not play defense. Charles Barkley's my first favorite player of all time in basketball. He did not play defense. He did not play like Akeem Olajuwon. Imagine if Akeem Olajuwon had Kevin Johnson in 92, 93. It would have been over. It would have been over. The Bulls had 3 All-Stars that season, but plus Kukoc who was the best player not in the NBA until then. That was like the when the Knicks had 3 All-Stars with like who was John Starks and Oakley and Patrick Ewing. 92-93, Jordan finished third in MVP voting with the highest win share, 48. Yeah, I just read that. Yeah, man, that was just dominant. He was dominant, bro. But yo, RP, who you got? And in the chat, who you got? Early 90s Mike or second half of the 90s Mike? For me, I always say early 90s Mike. Defensively was a different animal. That was a different animal, man. And then he's just destroying you on offense. And he's talking to you. Don't be talking to me, man. Don't take my girl and tell me about it, man. Don't post it on Instagram like, yo, look, man, it's Mr. Still Your Girl. Oh, don't do that. What are you gonna do? You gonna feel like shooting him, and he could beat you up. Imagine some guy who could beat you up, takes your girl and post it on Instagram. That's Michael Jordan, early 90s. Scottie definitely improved his mentality, and playing alongside MJ gave all those Bulls the bravado. Bird, Dr. J, Baylor, KD, Braun, Dominique were all better than Pitt, but Pitt was arguably the greatest Robin ever. Elgin, Baylor, Kevin Durant. Dominique is arguable as well. He wasn't a great defender. Because Scottie Pippen have led those Atlanta teams like Dominique did in the 80s. I mean, anybody could just make fun of him being a one-handed bandit, but he was amazing. And another guy who got his career cut short to injuries. Some people are too alpha to play second fiddle. I don't think it's alpha. I think it's immaturity at that point. Because if you have a chance to win, you know, we talked about it ad nauseum all week, but people take the bag over winning. They take the bag over rings, and you can have both. You can try to strategize that. That's the video. He watched those 6 games plus extra games. Those 6 games were deliberately selected because they were the most egregious. Yeah, but he don't say that, RP. Then you didn't watch his video. Johnny Arnett spoke to the fact that it was even worse than he thought. He said that the stat thing was even worse than what they were saying in the article, but there's no way he watched Michael Jordan and could come to the conclusion that he's not in Defensive Player of the Year conversation. There's no way you watch those games, those other games, and you watching how he breaks down Michael Jordan, you go like, nah, he was too crazy. He was too crazy. I think a part of the propaganda with that RP, of course, is LeBron James, Nick Wright were producing. He produced the video and helped push the guy talking about Michael Jordan stats don't count. A part of it definitely is that, and it got nasty that way. But also, it's when the propaganda for superstars in the NBA started with a Michael Jordan, and a part of that propaganda is, all of a sudden I get a slam dunk champion, MVP, and I want that Defensive Player of the Year. Because now it makes me look like undeniably two-way player, whatever it is, MVP. How else can I promote myself? What better way to promote yourself if you know you're not going to win the finals? You know you're not ready for the Celtics. You know you're not ready for the Pistons. So just in case, I'm going to promote myself as Mr. Universe out here. That's a part of, hey, was Mike really that good defensively? Yes, he was. Yes, he was. But Defensive Player of the Year was up for grabs. And again, if they don't have that many Michael Jordan videotapes, where are the Akeem Olajuwon videotapes? That's my only argument with all of this. We could over dissect Michael Jordan all we want to. Where are the Akeem Olajuwon tapes? I think once the more we watch Akeem Olajuwon, we're gonna say, damn. Defensively, he was different. Johnny made another video specifically about that article. It was very good. I thought it was that video because he did go after that article. That's the one that I watched. That's an argument for Jordan, the fact that he played that hard on defense while dropping 35. Hell yeah, that season. But you see, that wasn't sustainable. That's lunatic. I ain't doing that. Nobody could do that. Nobody could do that. I don't care if you got, visit a Miami clinic in the middle of your prime. Start talking to A-Rod's peoples. I don't care if you do that. You ain't playing defense and offense like that. He averaged 1.6 blocks, which were shown by the video, not to be inflated. In fact, when Johnny watched the video, he might have been robbed of some blocks. He was robbed of some blocks, but they also did inflate it. RP. Now we lying. He showed it. The stats were nuts. Look at the number of votes, though. He wasn't getting a lot of votes. Usually no one outside of the top 3 gets a lot of votes. Yeah, we saw that, right? Like and those are first place votes. The other votes is how a lot of these guys get into the mix. And they probably changed the first place voting because that was like a point system. So, second and third place votes matter as well. And just, speaking of Scottie Pippen, just being able to finish in the top 10 MVP for that long is crazy. That's crazy. Early 90s MJ. Yeah. I think we all agree with that. Early 90s Mike is the greatest basketball player ever. He had the skill, fundamentals, mentality, physicality, and experience. Got over the hump. That was amazing. I did watch the video. No, he didn't say that. Watch it again. I will. He definitely said that. He went through the footage and he put his own stats up and he allotted everything. And he goes, yo, and it was a lot of what I didn't agree with him, RP, was that he was saying the questionable blocks, he wouldn't give it to Mike. He had like questionable blocks that he said, you know what? He probably didn't count these, the writer, the reporter, so I'm not gonna count them or whatever it was. And some of them you could have counted. But the whole point was it was a judgment call. What's the Melo versus Randall slam? The Melo is better, hands down. Y'all ninjas smoking greens and advance to high grade weed. If you're talking about Melo as for his career, then that's not really a conversation. Like Randall's not going to be in the same conversation as Carmelo Anthony, top 10 scorer of all time. We're not talking about that though. We're talking about their Knicks tenure. Carmelo Anthony is a better one-on-one player. He's going to be known as a bigger superstar than Jaylen Brunson. There's no way I'm starting a team with Carmelo over Jaylen Brunson. You could think I'm smoking whatever, bro. Like we gotta get serious about what we think about our basketball players and stop being fans of people, stop standing people. Like Julius Randle earned our respect for a reason, bro. There was a time where we were just like, he can't be the number one, and the Knicks made it so that he wasn't the number one. Carmelo Anthony, if he's your best player, he needs way more help around him. And not just 40-year-old Jason Kidd and all that. That's what he signed up for. He signed up to be over here and trade everybody. He had all the help in the world, and he went against that. And if you're a player in the game, why would you shoot yourself in the foot? I don't get it. I've been on for an hour. This is crazy. He literally has given less blocks than Johnny counted when he watched. The steals were bad in those games, but he still had a 9-point steal game away from home. Yeah, he did. Shout out to AllBall. The hate is real. Why gotta be hate? Like y'all be taking and you loving too much, bro. The glaze is real. You got your loud King Ribby. Hakeem is the greatest defender ever. He's the second best player ever, in my opinion. At his peak, right? Because he didn't have a long enough career. But Jordan was trying to prove a point that season. He was, but I think Jordan was also Nike, Gatorade. I think that was also part of it, RP. Like, we can't lie about this. See, when you argue with LeBron fans, they bring this up because I laugh at LeBron fans when they're like, yo, Jordan had to deal with no media screw. And it's true. If you scrutinize Michael Jordan, they were ripping you back then. And on top of that, they were riding him so much, he could hide the defensive player of the year. Something like this. They didn't focus on the Hakeem Olajuwon. That was their biggest miss. How you don't focus on Hakeem? That's all I was saying. He proved that Michael Jordan was just maybe the best defensive two-guard ever. But that's so tough to say because Tony Allen and them guys, they just play defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's hard to just. Of course I can't play defense like you, bro. I got to go score buckets. What I do on the offensive end is defense. What you going to do with this? You ain't scoring nothing. Imagine Tony Allen talking to Michael Jordan. Jordan's going to laugh at him. Okay, you're going to guard me hard for 48 minutes. Guess what? I'm going to score 30. and I'm locking you up. Yeah, hold them down, Allah wise. Please do. I'll tear y'all up. What is Julius Randle glazing, bro? What's his name? Carmelo Anthony Glaze. I don't care what y'all say. Why? I disagree with you? He wasn't a winner, bro. He didn't have a winning mentality. Which one we're gonna talk about? That's a lie and false narrative. Even Melo said so. Phil didn't like Melo after this season. We went against Indy and traded JR and Shump. I ain't talking about that season. I'm talking about when he got here and he could have went to the offseason and not get traded. Maybe Denver was going to trade him regardless, but he could have waited for all that. My computer slowing down. I should have reset it before I came on here. Wow. Things slowing down. Yeah, but hold them down, Allah wise. Coming in. Oh my God. You supposed to be scared of y'all Melo stands? I don't care. He wasn't here with Julius Randle when we were slandering him. No, we call it how I see it, man. That's all. Melo's a legend. Love him. But stop telling me that he did the right thing. He was up against knock me out of my life. I see you. Yeah, it's slowing down because you be who's sucking beef? See what I'm saying? All y'all got. You gotta relax, homeboy. I am relaxed. I get so offended. Look, this guy's sucking beef. What is he talking about? See what I'm saying? I don't talk like that. Say glazing or whatever y'all be saying. Sucking beef is crazy. But why you on Melo's beef? What are you talking about? You here going crazy for three years. Fab, you jumping out the window not knowing what you're talking about. You gotta relax. Me and his convo is for me and him. Oh, sorry, Allah. Peace, my brother. Tried to destroy Jordan after their first chip. Who? Sam Smith or whatever his name is? Who cares, RP? That's a part of it, but he didn't get destroyed like LeBron. LeBron had dealt with way more in the media and all these other guys. Oh, you posted that here. I can post you so many articles from the New York Times ripping Jordan. The NBA loved them, but beat reporters in other cities didn't. Read Mike Wise, Harvey Arden's article, Sam Smith in Chicago. Okay, cool. It's still not Twitter. It's still not this era, bro. It just isn't. It's not. Like, that's why I don't like, man. Jordan didn't. David Stern was helping him out. David Stern was helping him out, man. Okay, King Ribby. They want to talk about this article too, Front Office Sports. You know what? Let's talk about this, man. Everyone's stressing. You think Jordan would be on Twitter? Come on, man. I think Jordan would listen to all of that on Twitter. I think Jordan would have. Why not? He's human, bro. If all the stars, like Kevin Durant is just a nutcase version of all these guys. But they're all on there. LeBron is on there. These guys are promoting themselves on there. I'm saying the same way we argue for LeBron, same way we argue about Jordan now, he would have had to deal with this. And he didn't deal with this. Him gambling, him going out and all that, like that wasn't talked about, bro. It was really, they had it for one little spark, one little thing for 1 second, for one playoffs when he was in New York. They went to Atlantic City. Yo, man. Too young for what? In the 80s, they said Michael Jordan can't win with that style of play. They were saying all the same things. I get that, bro. But to think that he was like, I don't even understand. Why are we even arguing with this? What is so you give if you give into that, yo, Jordan didn't have to deal with the scrutiny that LeBron did. What does that even mean anyway? It doesn't make him a better player. That's not what determines who the better player is. But you can't act like he dealt with the same kind of media, bro. LeBron can't get everybody banned the way Michael Jordan did. You couldn't even go to Sports Illustrated and all that. He was banning media members. Sam Smith was not well liked in Chicago. He was banned in Chicago, bro. What are we talking about right now, LP? Come on, man. I'm too young for all of that. But I went back and I watched a lot of stuff. He wrote the Jordan rules. Jordan is a boomer. It was boomer like a thing back in the day. Like, that's like cursing you out. He isn't on Twitter, and if he is, he's definitely not reading it. Those wrote articles saying he caused his dad's death. Magic was the golden child in the 80s. They had to deal with the scrutiny relative to their era. Yeah, that was there too. And Michael Jordan spoke about that in The Last Dance and everything. Okay. That was one article. There was a couple of articles. This is, come on, man. Like, this era is not just Twitter. This is what, like, once you post something, it's viral. It's way more viral than back in the day. It was way easier to suppress any information back then, before the internet. It was way easier. This is not even an argument, bro. And again, this is why I don't understand why, if you on Michael Jordan's side, all of a sudden he did everything better. He did nothing wrong. he's perfect. No. And I believe Kobe Bryant had way more pressure than LeBron, Michael Jordan, all of them. I don't think he's better than LeBron or Michael Jordan, but I don't think with what he dealt with, what Jordan dealt with, or LeBron dealt with, beefing with Shaq, the case, all of that in LA. He really went from a hero to a villain in front of our eyes. They tried to promote him as the next Mike. Then they turned him to the Joker. That was crazy. LeBron or Mike had to go through that. They really ridiculed him. Flying from a court case to playing at Laker games, playing playoff games. Kobe was sick, man. A boomer is a generation before Generation X. Yeah, I know what a boomer is, but like the way people say it is like a curse word. Jordan definitely would have been on social because he would have used all your content as fuel to eat your lunch. Exactly. And he would just make stuff up. Like, Jordan was kind of a sicko. He was a sicko, bro. Just making up beef. Nah, come on. Jordan couldn't get his son in the league. LeBron could, and Braun is trash compared to Jay 23. But media will have you believe Braun the GOAT. F out of here. I'm a little confused. All I was, I think me and you are both a bit duplicitous. LeBron could, and Braun is trash. Why? I think this is the funny part, right? I think LeBron is soft on the court, especially compared to everybody else, right? Because he just too many times, you just always crying. But off the court, I think LeBron is more of a paper gangster than Michael Jordan. I think what he did to the NBA, the way he took over, I think he was way more gangster than Michael Jordan. That was crazy. Remember, he got his man Rich Paul's on 60 Minutes saying, I learned the game from rolling dice. That's what he's on as a millionaire on 60 Minutes. Yo, I learned my game from rolling dice. What? At least Rich Kleiman, KD's guy, he said, yo, I used to run like a gambling ring in my basement. We had, played poker and everything. I knew how to run a business. He dressed it up nice. Rich Paul said, I learned the game from shooting dice. I said, bro, you're not a rapper. What are you doing? You are in charge of a bunch of people, hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. That's who LeBron got to be so powerful in the NBA. Got Tristan Thompson paid. Huh? I think LeBron is more gangster in the NBA than Michael Jordan, man. Paper gangster. On the court, he's not a gangster. He's not a tough guy. He's Mr. Softy. Braun is the fix been in fact. I think this Melo won Rookie of the Month every season, right? Rookie of the Month for the whole year. I still didn't think Carmelo was better than LeBron rookie season. Carmelo made the playoffs in a tougher conference. But I thought Braun was different, bro. And D Wade should have got more votes. D Wade was crazy his rookie year. But LeBron, bro, he didn't have the team that Carmelo had. In terms of team. Braun messing up my audio, man. I'm gonna stick to my other camera. Braun is media. LeBron owns a piece of today's NBA. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But Jordan, Mike was Mike, though. Mike was Mike. Let's get into this real quick. I gotta go to sleep. What did y'all think of the Jaylen Brown scenario, man? Jaylen Brown, USA basketball feud escalates over snub Nike allegations. Grant Hill denounced the conspiracy theory surrounding USA basketball selection. So we all know Jaylen Brown. There's a lot to unpack here, as they say in the media streets. There's a new chapter in the feud between Celtics star Jaylen Brown and USA basketball. Brown has been public about his displeasure over being snubbed from the U.S. men's Olympic team. 2024 NBA Finals MVP was not selected to the original roster announced in April, then essentially missed the team again earlier this month when it chose Celtics teammate Derek White. Grant Hill, managing director of the U.S. men's basketball team, how they decided to select White over Brown. I close all these damn ads. Hill's reasoning was that the team discovered in its practices leading up to the Olympics that they wanted to play a bench lineup that featured Bam Adebayo, Anthony Davis, two players they had originally envisioned as centers. That decision created a logjam at the 4 position. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, now Bam Adebayo, all these guys can play the 4, and we envision them playing the 4. Let's not bring another guy who might play the 3-4 position. Let's bring in someone who can really give us great defense at the point of attack. Conspiracy theory. Brown's, I mean, it's logical. It's logical to me. I hate when people act like this, like it doesn't make sense. I thought the basketball was logical, but of course, you know, Jaylen Brown spoke out against Nike and he said it was a conspiracy theory. So let's get into conspiracy theory. Brown's public criticism of USA basketball started after White's selection. He posted several cryptic tweets, but took one direct shot at Nike, implying that the brand that sponsors the U.S. team influenced the selection. Nike, this is what we're doing. Less than a week later at NBA Summer League, Brown, who has not signed a sneaker deal since his contract with Adidas in 2021, was asked whether he thinks Nike played on the decision to leave him off the roster. I do for sure. That's what Brown said. There will be more stuff to come with that. As of now, I'm not going to comment on it. Hill denounced Brown's comment, stressing that the decision was based on finding the right balance for the team's roster. I think the idea that there's a conspiracy theory, I always love a good conspiracy theory. It was really, truly a basketball decision. To Hill's point, Tatum, Brown's teammate on the Celtics, and Jordan Brand athlete, was a DNP CD in Team USA's dominant 26-point win over Serbia on Sunday, while its Celtics counterparts Drew Holiday and White both received significant minutes as role players. But Brown clapped back at Hill, particularly at his use of the term conspiracy theory, noting it was disappointing and that he has been a VP since he was 21 years old, referring to his position as a vice president of National Basketball Players Association. All right. While Brown called foul at Hill's comments, this isn't the first time he's been embroiled in issues related to conspiracy theories. In 2022, Brown retweeted, then deleted a post that indicated that the COVID-19 pandemic vaccine was not meant to protect the public, which he was kind of right about, right? Whether you agree or disagree, I took the jab, but they were not pushing that for us to be 100% safe or whatever. They were pushing that to make money and to get the economy started again. They didn't want to kill everybody. I don't know if they put a chip in our blood. I don't know what they did. But I do know that of course you have to conspire to do any of these things. So whatever. But I didn't know Jaylen Brown said that about the COVID-19 thing. He does fly off the hinges. He's not gonna roll with everybody. You know, I do find Grant Hill being disrespectful though, because you're a peer, you're a man at the end of the day. You're a basketball player first. He got a beef with Nike right now. You don't get involved with that beef. All you got to do is say, you know, I understand Jaylen Brown's comments, but you know, we didn't make that decision based on any beef that he got. I would have said it just like that. I don't even want to get involved with that. We know Nike's a big deal over here and everything, but that's not what this is based off of. So whatever they got going on, they got nothing to do with us. We definitely want to protect Jaylen Brown and his image and the MVP and whatever else. But don't involve yourself in that, Grant Hill. And maybe what I said was involving yourself, but so scratch everything I said. Just protect your decision. That's it. Yo, we got Derek White in there because we wanted to just have more of a defender like Jaylen Brown, but we needed a guy to be a role player on offense more. Jaylen Brown's a superstar, bro. You know, but I think that falls flat on just what the Olympics is supposed to be about, what is promoting the game. And there's no way now the Olympic team, like, unless you're gonna have the best version of basketball players playing for the US every single season or every single Olympic tryout, there's no reason to have Derek White and Drew Holiday out there. They're not part of the 12 best players in the NBA. You know, I think they had Tayshaun Prince in the Redeem team, and he's comparable to Drew Holiday and Derek White, but there wasn't a Derek White and a Drew Holiday. There was one Tayshaun Prince in that right in that team. So I get it, but the way the media ran with it too, like, it was just silly. Like, oh, they disrespected Jason Tatum. Now it's turning into Steve Kerr is such a manipulator. He's benching Jason Tatum to get on his nerves and start a beef between the Celtics. And it's like, you know, I don't want to hear about anybody clickbaiting. These guys clickbait worse than everybody. The mainstream media. Kendrick Perkins, Stephen A. Smith. I've seen all these guys talking about the same thing. Like, it was disrespectful. Like, and Steve Kerr's a chump for giving into that. He's a chump for giving in. I would just say, bro, I didn't play him because we want to roll. The hell are you talking about? There's 12 guys on the team. This is the right rotation for that squad. Did we win? How much did we win by? Are you the coach? See you later. Steve Kerr's a chump for giving into that, man. Straight up. As a basketball decision is really not far-fetched. The team is deep at the small forward, power forward. Someone definitely was going to be snubbed. Happened to be him. Jaylen Brown's a 2-guard. Jason Tatum is the 3-4/point forward on the team. Jaylen Brown is the 2-guard. You got Drew Holiday. Well, maybe he's the 3 now because Derek White and Drew Holiday are both starting. But he was known as the best 2-guard in the game the year before, arguably, with Jimmy Butler. So it's not like he can't play the 2. I get it. But it has nothing to do with that at a certain point. Jaylen Brown's going to feel however he felt regardless. There's no way you're going to be able to shake what Jaylen Brown was saying. Grant Hill, that was stupid. Sometimes say nothing. That was dumb. Also, real quick, speaking of the Olympics, drama inside USA. No, not that. Okay, boom. Dawn Staley came out and she kept it funky about Caitlin Clark, and she said basically, if we would have choose the women's Olympic team now, today, she find it hard to believe that Caitlin Clark would not have a team. She's playing head and shoulders above a bunch of players in the league right now, and we all know Caitlin Clark is a driving force for this right here. What's going on? What's happening in the WNBA and the NBA? The WNBA has secured $200 million per year, totaling $2.2 billion in the media deal starting in 2026. But part of the contract includes a price reevaluation after the 2028 season. According to CNBC, the three partners did not assign a value for the WNBA when negotiating the broader $77 billion deal with the NBA, and the recommendation of a media consulting team from Endeavor Group, which owns the WWE and UFC, valued the WNBA at just $125 million per year. So the Endeavor Group, that's why you see Stephen A. Smith riding for Dana White so much, because Endeavor owns UFC. Stephen A. Smith and he works for ESPN, who has a deal with UFC. They got a deal with Dana White. And he's talking about his dear friend and all that. But that's the Endeavor Group, which used to be WME. What's the guy? Ari Emanuel used to run them. They are basically, I don't say an arbitrator, but they independently value the WNBA at $125 million a year. The league will receive $200 million per year in this media rights deal. So they were able to, the NBA was able to twist the arms of these streaming companies, bro. The NBA was able to twist their arm and to give the WNBA $75 million more than what they were valued at for the next 10 years. So that's $750 million you never would have had. Caitlin Clark is a part of that. But the other thing with this is, whether it's the fault of the league itself, the NBA was partners, those mistakes, which include the shutdown of several franchises. Okay, blah, blah, blah. The other thing with that is, for me, it was another article about the Olympic rate. Oh, here we go, the Olympic ratings. Right? Think about this. That's why everything is tied in together. 2024 Olympics opening ceremony Saturday, TV ratings way up. NBC Universal posted its best opening ceremony viewership since 2012, while Saturday viewership surges 83%. The 2 days of data from the Paris game have supported many of the hosts of NBC Universal and parent company Comcast, and showed a strong reversal from record lows posted in Tokyo. Now remember this name, Comcast. That's the parent company. They own NBC, right? NBC Sports said viewership for Friday's opening ceremony averaged 28.6 million viewers in the U.S. across platforms. Those numbers were then improved Saturday, the first full day of competition from Paris. Viewers all across platforms, 83% better than comparable figures from Tokyo compared to the previous Olympics, right? The Peacock burst on 41. As had been hoped, the Peacock streaming service has been an increasing driver of the robust initial Olympic viewership numbers. For the opening ceremony, Peacock generated more than 2.5 million viewers, representing the #1 entertainment event in the platform's history across all of NBC Universal's streaming platforms, including Peacock. The company also generated more than 1 billion minutes of consumption through Friday, 6 times the comparable figure from Tokyo. Saturday, meanwhile, brought 4.7 million viewers to Peacock, marking its second best day of engagement ever. There were water concerns over there in Paris. But there's also a tidbit in this, in that NBC Universal, right? They're using the Peacock streaming service, and Comcast owns all of that. Technology might have gotten better since Peacock first started, #1, right? #2, that's how you were able to facilitate the streams and everything. #3, for me, I believe that some of this stuff is inflated and it's fudged so they can go back and really work these numbers and really here's this other bit that I want to include in this conversation about the NBA rights, ratings. Nobody's talking about this. And I'm looking for an article. Comcast and NBC, specifically Comcast, they have to pay Warner, I think, $2 a month for every subscriber on Comcast to pay Warner. I want to find the exact information on this. Because if Comcast has to pay TNT and Warner $2 a month, Comcast, the cable provider, Comcast, the NBC Universal owner, if they help to bankrupt Warner Media, right? NBC Universal and Comcast looks at it like, I'm already paying the NBA. Why should I pay Comcast? Why should I pay Warner Media? If we get them out of here, we ain't got to pay them no more. Because if your ratings start dropping for all the Warner channels, remember, Warner is right now is TNT, TBS, CNN, HBO. If their ratings start dropping because you can't have basketball anymore inside the NBA, you can't get the $2 from me every month. I don't need you. And I took the thing that you guys had, which is basketball. What if NBC comes out with Inside the NBA? It's a dirty game, y'all. It's a dirty, dirty game. I gotta find that article. Comcast won't buy Warner Brothers Discovery. Warner Brothers has a lot of debt also. Warner Brothers has a lot of debt. They have $40 billion in debt, if I'm not mistaken, and they have like a market cap of 31 billion. So they're worth like a negative 9 billion right now. That's why when you're dealing with Amazon and Disney, especially with Amazon, they're in the trillions. They're in the trillions. They just like, what's stopping Amazon from buying Comcast and buying Time Warner, some of these cable services? They just don't want to disrupt too fast because they get away with a lot by being a streaming service and not being a cable provider. Once you're a cable provider, now you at war with Dolan and these guys. They're not playing with you. And come on, it got to be a bunch of mobsters over there, right? But I'm trying to find the information about, does Comcast pay Warner Group monthly? Carriage fees and MSO Time Warner may pay a network anywhere between 1 cent or $4. This is interesting. Ooh, is this it? This is from. Is this Reddit or Quora? How much do satellite and cable companies like Comcast and DirecTV pay for their signal from various channels like CNN and ESPN? It's based on how many subscribers receive the signal. It's called sub fees and is generally less than 10 cents per subscriber per month. DirecTV has 32 million subscribers, so it would pay out $3.2 million a month to a network that has sub fees of 10 cents. ESPN and the NFL Network get immense fees, about $5 to $1, but everyone is much, much lower. Sub fees are part of multi-year agreements, and often renewals are linked to ratings. So hits like Mad Men can have a big impact on the bottom line of a network if they let them negotiate even a few more cents per sub. Some channels forego their sub fees in order to maintain carriage more attractive for performing networks. But for most networks, sub fees make up over 80% of revenue, far outpacing ad revenue. So imagine how much is Warner gonna make? Is Time Warner gonna make? Warner Group gonna make? Warner Media Group gonna make off of TNT if they lose basketball? That's why they're dying to go get college football now and everything else. Because David Zaslav came out and played himself last year and talked about how they didn't need basketball. See, that's the conflict. Those are two conflicts of interest now, because in my opinion, the NBA has that statement from Zaslav, a public statement like that, and they could use it against them in court because we're seeing that Warner's going to sue the NBA. On the other hand, that's a conflict of interest in play. If NBC now owns the exact thing that brought a bottom line to TNT and Warner Media Group to help gain sub fees, which is bigger than ad revenues. This is a big deal. What NBC is doing, Comcast is doing, straight gangster. They're getting TNT up out of there. I wouldn't be surprised if they do the ultimate and sign like Charles and them, TNT inside the NBA. If they take that from them, that'll be crazy. That'll be crazy. Because that's the ultimate. If they do that, then you know that it's all a shot at NBC. I mean, all a shot at TNT and the Warner Group. I wonder if they had beef, Comcast and Warner Media. Charles said he'd retire. I think that was a ploy, RP, because he's saying he's on his last year, right? It's my last year to go with y'all. Now it puts you in a negotiation for his farewell tour because the ratings are going to go up every time Charles is on the air now. This is his last season. So now he's helping them trying to negotiate. I don't believe he retires. He was just on Dan Patrick saying, I'm going to field calls. I'm going to listen. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it, but I'm going to field calls. So, Charles, I don't believe Charles. I think he's trying to help them out. Ernie out. Ernie said he's not leaving TNT or he's not leaving from Atlanta. But what's stopping them if Amazon sets up shop over there or NBC sets up shop over there? Ernie doesn't care if it's now NBC Universal signing this check instead of Ted Turner. Ted Turner's old. Ted Turner does not own them anymore. But those are the facts that I found interesting about this case. They're getting Warner Group up out of there, and it's gangster. Correct, Q Burrow. It's a dog-eat-dog world when it comes to business. It's a dog-eat-dog world in general. In general. I've been yapping so much. I forgot to prepare my factor meals. Factormeals.com/ABTV50. Factormeals.com/ABTV50. Get 50% off when you sign up at factormeals.com/ABTV50. Get 20% off for the second month. You have a variety of meal planning at your service. Factormeals.com/ABTV50, y'all. Get your factor on. Yeah. Japan's women's Olympic basketball team needs a new hairstyle. The Mo from the Three Stooges ain't working no more. Yeah, but they supported him when his wife was dying. I think Ernie is loyal. Yeah, but you know, if they're doing no more, like what's the point? Unless they just do college ball, which they could. That's how big and that's how great inside the NBA is. Because if you notice, Charles Barkley, he's like Charlemagne the God. Like Charlemagne the God is trash outside of the Breakfast Club, but Breakfast Club is like his thing. Inside the NBA is like perfect for Charles Barkley, but outside of that, I don't really watch Charles Barkley. If he's on Dan Patrick's show, I listen to the interviews, but that's time to time here and there. It's not every day. It's not must see TV. Inside the NBA is must see TV, man. With Shaq ruined, by the way. Listen, y'all, it's time for me to roll. It got a little heated with you Mellow stands. I don't care. Come back in here, King Ribby. A la Wise. Well, a la Wise is with Julius Randle, he said. Charlemagne is always trash. He was good though. But then he turned like too political. And he's not even too political. He got punked by Joe Biden. Joe Biden told him, "You're not black, bro. If you don't vote for me." That's the equivalent to put your glasses back on. That's even worse than put your glasses back on. Joe Biden told Charlemagne to put your glasses back on. Melo wasn't a championship caliber player. I mean, he had championship caliber talent. Have you noticed without the BS, you ain't heard nothing really from the club Shay Shay? I would think they're still doing numbers. I haven't looked it up though, Fish, but you're right. Nobody's talking about Club Shay Shay. Let's see. Club Shay Shay. Who do you have on? Devontae Adams. $2 months ago. I mean, he's still doing numbers. 7 days ago, 26,000, 207,000. He's still doing numbers. But there is no, 2 weeks ago, he got Megan Good, 2.7 million. That's crazy. He's still doing it. We just don't hear about it like that on Fish. Got 2 million with Dana White. He's doing it, but we don't care. Club Faye is better. He's just like I don't even get it. He just, he got his bread, bro. I can't be mad at him. Y'all know me, man. Been 2 hours. I gotta go. Thank all y'all in the chat holding me down. You know what time it is. AllBall TV. They scared, but I'm not. They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.